Hey guys, we are back with some more Atlanta Thrashers franchise mode, and in this one, we actually had to restart because I screwed something up about the setup in episode 1, so now we are going to officially get underway with the Atlanta Thrashers GM mode. Now, since this is a different save file, I went ahead already and signed all of our assistant coaches, but what I have yet to do is sign a head coach, and the good thing about restarting the save file was the fact that our head coach was absolutely awful in our original save file, so now I selected to start out general manager and head coach so that we can choose our own head coach to start out. I already have a head coach in mind, so we're just going to search his name, and that would be Nathan Layler, sort of under staff, and there he is. He is 47 years of age, and his coaching ratings aren't the greatest. They're all roughly middle of the road, but what I like the most about Nathan Layler here is his motivation up there at 17. His tactics are at 15. His self-preservation and negotiating doesn't really matter since he's a coach. That's more for GMs. And the discipline, it's all right. That's at 10. In-game tactics is at 10 as well. And then player management is at 8, so that might be a little bit of a problem. But in my opinion, he is currently the best coach on the market. This is the best I could find as far as balance goes and having all the important attributes. Motivation is up there with one of the most important attributes for a coach, at least in my opinion. That's where I see the most success with a head coach that has high motivation and high tactics and stuff like that. Now, as for preferences, his offensive preference, he prefers to have an offensive system, which I like, because we have guys like Kovalchuk and Heatley. We're going to be wanting to build off our high-powered offense for sure. Physical preference is balanced, line matching tendency, aggressive, goalie handling, balanced, favor veterans, balanced, innovation, very innovative, and loyalty, ruthless. I don't know what that means, but we're going to give him an offer. So we will hire him as our head coach we'll give him 3 seasons. It's not like we're going to be competing for the Stanley Cup right away, right? This team is going to be absolutely terrible for the first couple of seasons. As you can see here by the roster, we have Ferraro, we have Domenicelli and Kovalchuk. We also have Heatley and then Tremblay. He's pretty good too, but everybody else, we have a pretty weak roster especially when you compare us to the likes of, let's say, Boston has Thornton, Ralston, Samsonov, Guerin. They're pretty good. Who else is pretty good here? Colorado's really good. They have Waugh, Sakic, Forsberg, Blake. I mean, see how bad we are compared to these other teams. We're not going to be competing for the Stanley Cup for at least for the first 2 or 3 years, I would imagine. This is going to be a long rebuild. It really is. So as for guys that we want to focus on, obviously Heatley, Kovalchuk, Domenicelli maybe. He's 25. He could still potentially see some growth depending on his statistics, but I'm not anticipating that they'll be great to start out. Ferraro's obviously pretty old, 36 years of age there. He won't be around on our roster for too long. So now, as far as prospects in the minor leagues go, we have the Chicago Wolves as our AHL team. We really don't have too many prospects other than Derek McKenzie. He's 20 years of age, a 1-star ability currently, and 2.5-star potential. Now, the thing about potential in this game, and ability in general, is that it can actually go up with statistics from year to year. So let's say if Kovalchuk has an 100-point season, then his potential will almost undoubtedly go up from 3.5-star to, let's say, 4.5-star, or maybe even 5-star. So that's what I really like about this game as far as prospect development goes. Maybe it won't take as long as we're anticipating, but we're definitely not going to be going anywhere in year number 1, and probably not year number 2 either. Because as we can see, our 2 goaltenders, Nurminen and Henlika, are 1-star goaltenders. So here are the lines that our coach has come up with for the start of year number 1. You have Kovalchuk, Ferraro, and Donovan on the first line. Then you have Domenicelli, Stefan, and Kaleo on the second line. And on the third line, you have Barteko, Svartvadet, and Danny Heatley there on the third line. Then you have Puros, Carlson, and Herkach on the fourth line. And as far as defensemen go, you have Kaberle and Tremblay. And then you have Reardon and Clark. And then Tarnquist with Buzek, and Henlika and Nurminen in net, of course. Just so you guys know, I can't control the lines too much because that's the coach's job. Our job is specifically GM things. So let's just say I want, let's say, Heatley on the first line. I can't move him to the first line because I'm not the coach. I can try to influence the coach's line changes by creating lines from lineups. So there you move Heatley to the second line, but I can't really, there's not much I can do to influence the line changes unless I become the coach myself, which, at least to start off, is not what we're going to be doing. Our coach attributes are, not great, especially in the miscellaneous category. Like motivation and tactics and in-game tactics are pretty important to the simulation, I notice. So we are going to be just the GM to start things out. So with that all being done, I think we're going to get to the simulation. And honestly, I think we can get through the whole season in this video to make up for the fact that number one, that there hasn't been really any videos recently. And number two, the fact that there's only 2 leagues in this entire save file means we can absolutely fly through this simulation. I'll just give you an example here. So I'm just going to save really quickly. And then we are going to sim to the next month, and look how fast that goes. That is insanely fast compared to Eastside Hockey Manager or even EA Sports, right? So I think we can honestly get through the entire season here in this video. So we may as well simulate up to preseason here. The development report, actually, we'll just check that real quick. Stewart, okay, so these are all guys that we don't really care about. They're all free agents. So we will go to the start of preseason now. And there you go. We're already on September 1st. So Derek McKenzie, he is up in agility, balance, strength, aggression, and fighting. So he saw some pretty good growth there in August. Now we'll simulate up to preseason, and there you go. We're already there. So here's our training camp development report. We're seeing a lot of growth from guys like Heatley, Kovalchuk, McKenzie. That's all I really care about. As long as our young kids are growing, nothing else really matters for this season because it's gonna be rough, as I've said. So we are just going to pretty much immediately get to opening night here, as long as we don't have any roster issues, which I don't think we should. Yep, we have 23 skaters, or, players in total, not skaters. So we should be good to go here. So we have some players that need to clear waivers. I don't think I care about any of these guys. No, I do not. So we are going to get straight to opening night here on October 3rd. And here we go, opening night against the Buffalo Sabres. First game of the GM mode, and we lose 2-1. You can expect more or less the same thing really throughout the whole season here. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go straight up to, I'm going to say March 1st, to be honest, because that's around the trade deadline. I think the trade deadline I saw is March 19th. In this universe, so we'll just get straight to March and see where we're at. And again, I'm not expecting to be competitive at all, so we should really just fly right through this. So development report for October, you have Heatley and Kovalchuk and McKenzie growing. They're the 3 guys who I really care about. Heatley, he is up to 2.5 stars. Kovalchuk, he is up to 2.5 stars as well. His potential actually dropped to 3 stars, which is a bit odd, considering he's actually having a pretty good year so far. 11 points in 10 games. So we'll see if he can keep that pace up. And if he does, then I would imagine his star potential will grow. Because I cannot imagine that will stay at 3 there with this kind of performance, especially on a team that should be a rebuilder. But actually, we're currently 5-4-1. So we're competitive at least to start out. We'll see if we can carry that through November. And if we can, then we might be looking at a pretty good season here. Much better than I expected, for sure. And then maybe we'll stop it in January, just as, if we're competitive at that point, then maybe we can consider making a trade or two. But I don't really want to go crazy with trades, even if we're going to be competitive and looking towards the playoffs, because there's no way that's going to be sustainable, right? So we're just going to get to December 1st here and see what happens. Ray Ferraro has achieved 400 NHL goals. He got his 400th goal against the New Jersey Devils, and it was assisted by Danny Heatley, the All-Star. You love to see it. Let's continue on with the simulation. Development report for November. Heatley, Kovalchuk, McKenzie all growing a little bit as well. So that's what you like to see. And Kovalchuk is back up to 3.5 star. That's what I expected. And also what I expected, we're back down to below 500. We are currently 9, 10, and 5. That was a pretty rough month for us. So I think if we go another month and we have more or less the same kind of performance, I'm going to guess we're going to be able to get through the whole season in this episode, but we obviously won't know for sure until we get through the simulations, so let's do just that. Let's get to January 1st. So the development report for December, Heatley, Kovalchuk, McKenzie, all the usual suspects growing. Can't ask for much more than that, and as you see by a record, that's kind of what I expected, 12, 20, and 7. Safe to say we could go through the rest of this episode, or the rest of the season rather, in this episode. And really, there was no doubt that this would be the case for this team. We're outclassed by almost every other roster in the entire game. And it appears that the little, I guess, hot streak, if you want to call it that, we had at the beginning of the season was a fluke. Now, there have actually been some pretty good performances here, particularly with our goaltenders. Nurminen and Henlicka have actually been pretty okay. A .923 save percentage for Nurminen in 28 games played, and in 13 games played for Henlicka, he has a .919. So, out of all of our players, the one-star goaltenders are the ones that are impressing right now. I mean, I'm sure the guys like Kovalchuk's getting quite a bit of offense there, 29 points in 39 games. Certainly dried up since the start of the season. Remember, he had 11 points in 10 games to start out. Heatley, 18 points. That's pretty good for a rookie season. Ferraro, he's got 23 points so far. Patrick Steffen with 13. DeMonicelli with 7, so he appears to be more of a grinder type player. It looks like his defense is better than his offensive grade. That's usually a sign of a grinder, or at the very least a two-way forward, But, yeah, for the most part, as you can see by the grades, we're not looking too hot here. So we'll check out the stats at the end of the season, because it's pretty clear here the goal for this team is going to be just ride it out and just wait for the draft. Ray Ferraro now has 900 points in the National Hockey League with the loss against Tampa, and 1 assist on a goal by, it looks like, Kaleo. You gotta be kidding me, dude. Danny Heatley out for 9 months with a fractured skull. No. Oh, that's brutal. That is absolutely brutal. Date of injury, April 12th, 2002. Fractured skull, indefinite status. Oh, no. That is unfortunate. And with that, the regular season has come to a close. We finished 13th in the Eastern Conference. 24, 41, and 17 is our final record with 65 points on the season. Didn't even come close to a playoff spot. We were 19 points behind the Montreal Canadiens, who were in 8th. So, yeah, it was as expected, essentially. So now we're going to check out the stats here. Kovalchuk led our team with 59 points in 82 games. Ferraro with 48. Kaleo with 33. Caberlet with 24. Yeah, you could you could pretty much right away see the issue here, as we have 3 guys with over 30 points. Well, actually, Heatley might have, 4 guys with over 30 points. Heatley had 32, but they just don't show his points on this screen because he's not on the active roster. But still, you can see the issue here with this team. Not nearly enough talent. Now let's see. Actually, I'm interested to see our goaltenders. So as we see Nurminen with 257 goals against average and a .930 save percentage. So for a team that went 24, 41, and 17, that's actually an insane save percentage. I would imagine he was being shell-shocked out there, and he was just making save after save after save. He had to there were probably some 50-shot nights in there. I'm going to have to say at least a few of them. Again, for a team that struggled like us, that's pretty impressive. And Henlicka, not too shabby himself, .910 save percentage, and a .332 goals against average. Now we're going to see defensemen with good defensive ratings, because this is probably one of the more important parts of building defense, at least in this game. So Caberlet, Reardon, and Tarnquist, all over 70. Those are guys you want to keep, so we're going to keep these 3 for sure. Steffen, he actually wasn't too bad this season defensively. 69 defensive grade for a forward. Usually for a forward, anything above 60 is pretty good, but nearly 70, that's pretty impressive actually. So we're definitely going to keep Steffen on board. Not much of a point scorer, but still someone worth keeping, at least for the first part of this rebuild. Kovalchuk, he had a great all-around year. Svartvedet was also pretty good, a 65 defensive grade and a 55 offensive grade. And everybody else just, yeah, not fantastic. And here we go, award nominees. Let's see if we have anyone nominated for any trophies. And we do. Ilya Kovalchuk is nominated for the Calder Trophy along with Marek Zidlitsky and Curtis Sanford. And we are not up for GM of the Year. That is to be expected. We had a pretty bad team, to say the least. So I wouldn't expect GM of the Year. Frank J. Selke, no. Lady Bing, no. Nope. Nope. And nope. All right. So we have one nomination for the Calder Trophy, Ilya Kovalchuk. Not bad. Hopefully he can win it. So we can say we won something this year, other than hopefully the first overall draft pick. I mean, obviously that's more important. So hopefully we win that too. But the Calder for Covey would be pretty nice. So here we go. Hall of Fame nominations. So on the list we have Yari Curry, Dale Howardchuk, Mike Gartner, Bernie Nichols, Dino Cicerelli, Doug Mullins, Bernie Federko, Glenn Anderson, Dave Taylor, Brian Propp, Mark Howe, Steve Larmer, Bobby Smith, Doug Wilson, and Pat LaFontaine. So I think Yari Curry's got to be on there, right? He's got to be. Let's see his career stats. Yeah, he's got to be absolutely on the ballot. So Curry, we're selecting no matter what. Dale Howardchuk, let's see him. Yeah, Howardchuk for sure. Gartner, yeah, I would say Gartner as well. Gartner's got to be number 3. And now what about Bernie Nichols here? Yeah, I would say the top 4, honestly, are the obvious nominations there. Most of them are over point per game. So there you go. There is our Hall of Fame vote. So upcoming UFAs, we have quite a few of them. I'm not going to even bother with most of these guys down here. I am going to sign McKenzie, obviously. He is maybe not a big part of the future, but he could be a decent third, maybe even second liner. Who knows? That potential might go up. So we'll just meet his demand. And we will ask for a response, submit offer. There you go. Remember, there's no salary cap right now. So it's not like the salary really hurts us. As long as we're not going over our budget, we should be fine, which I don't really anticipate that we're going to be going over our budget anytime soon. So, yeah, we could just throw contracts around to players who are going to be here long term. And that would include Kovalchuk and Heatley. I also want to give Stefan a contract. Covey wants $2.5 million for 4 years. I think we can do that. I'll take him down a little bit, though. I want to see if we can get him at 2.3. All right, he declined that. What about 2.4? Yes, indeed. There you go. And Danny Heatley. So, unfortunately, as we all saw, Heatley down with a long-term injury. He's probably going to be out going into the next season. Like, that's 9 months with a fractured skull. Oh goodness, that's until January, I think. Wow. That was a brutal injury. We'll try 2.2 for 2 years and see what he says about that. Yes, indeed. He likes that and I'll submit that offer to him. He should end up accepting it. So Patrick Stefan, I want to get him back as well. Yep, he wants a reasonable contract. There you go. I would like to bring back all the 2-star players. So Domenicelli as well. Tremblay, I would like to re-sign. And Barteco. Yep, it looks like everybody signed. Barteco, Heatley, Kovalchuk, McKenzie, Domenicelli, Stefan and Tremblay all sign. So now who is left to sign? Basically, yeah, guys, mostly guys we don't care about here at this point. I mean, you could re-sign Clark, I guess. He's 25 years of age. That 2-star potential. He may still be something. So we may as well sign him. I'll sign some guys for our minor league team as well. So I think that'll be everyone who's under 23. But everybody else I think we can release. Actually, I would like to re-sign Nemernon because he has grown to a 1.5 star with that incredible performance this past season. I accidentally overlooked him when looking at the star ratings, so we will sign him as well. But he is the last guy who we are signing here. We'll give him a contract, and there you go. That is basically everybody signed. I think the draft is actually in the beginning of July in this universe. So what we're going to do, we're just going to advance to the last day of the season, which is when we will get our performance review. And I'm not expecting it to be good since we obviously had a pretty bad season. And let's see. So manager of the year, nope. Probably nope. And probably all checks on here. Yep. No, and no. Okay, so we got a score of 9. So let's see if we got any points? We got 1 point. Awesome. So let's put it into negotiating skill. That'll help out with signing of contracts in the future. So the Hart Trophy goes to Jaromir Jagr, and Brian Rafalski wins the Conn Smythe, and the Vezina goes to Hasek. McInnes gets the Norris, and Covey wins the Calder. Go ahead, Sather wins the GM of the year. Dallas Drake wins the Selke. Rangers Peter Nedved wins the Maurice Richard. Joe Thornton wins the Art Ross. Brad Lukowicz wins the Plus Minus Award. Saving Grace Award goes to Craig Anderson. Hasek wins the Jennings. Lidstrom wins the Lady Bing. Francis wins the Masterton. Messier wins the Messier Award, of course, because of course he does. And the Ted Lindsay Award goes to Jagr. And the Coach of the Year goes to Ron Lowe, who is the coach of the Rangers. All-Star teams, we had no one on there because, of course, we didn't. We didn't really have any All-Star players. And there we go. We are now on July 1st for the next season. So what we're going to do, we're going to stop it here. And the next one, we will do the draft and get into next season. And more than likely, actually, get through the whole next season. So I'll end it right here. And I don't know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.